mind. And I now invite Subhash onto the stage for his next panel.
Thank you very much. It's nice to hear Subhash Garu because my name was probably killed for the past 30 years in the US, and they finally ended up calling me Dr. P, and that stuck, So anyways, thank you very much, everyone. I'll try to do my best at moderating. Before I start anything, I just want to thank Kalyan because I want to take 2 minutes to explain why I'm here. 20 years in the U.S. government, my job was to be on the side of innovation. So we take innovation to market, and that's exactly what U.S. government does most of the time, is take the startups and fund them, and then get them to a TRL, we call it, the technology readiness level, and then we take them to a level where they can commercialize and attract, VCs and investors and things like that, right? So after 20 years of that, then when I ventured into my own, agenda of doing things, entrepreneurship and everything. And by the way, to the women here, thank you very much, because my wife has been the biggest force behind me to do all this. Other than my wife, there's another guy, that's Kalyan. At that time, Kalyan came to me and he said, "So what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm trying to establish manufacturing outside of the U.S., and try to go to Singapore, And then he said, "Why Singapore?" And I said, "Well, first, the government is very, very nice and listens to people like us, and if they see a benefit, then they give you really good benefits for companies from the US to manufacture, and then I can compete in the global market." And then Kalyan goes, "Maybe you should look at Andhra Pradesh." And I said, "Okay, let's do that." And he gave me all the information, and it was, I was oblivious to all that, so I was really like, "Oh my God, this is really good," right? And more importantly, he said, I know the founder of TiE, Kanwal Reiki, and his best friend who helped him start. He's my advisor, my friend, Dr. Gurminder Singh Khalsa. But he said, if you want to do TiE, then you have to come to Visakhapatnam. So I am in San Jose area where I could have joined TiE San Jose, but I ended up in TiE Visakhapatnam. So thanks to Kalyan for that. So I want to start from there. And today I want to invite my panel members. I think the first one is Tom Sebastian. I will let them introduce themselves, because I think I will do injustice when I do that, And my second panel member is Murali Kakarla. Murali is TiE Hyderabad. Yeah, Murali. And then, come on up, please. And then I have, I think Hima Bhagavatula, she's not available. So, I'm gonna request Kalyan to replace her. So he brought me all the way from San Francisco, so I have to get him on the hook here, right? And then I think that's about it. That's it, right? Okay, perfect. So, oh, please. Oh, sorry about that. My apologies. See, I already screwed up. So there we go. Yeah. My apologies. Sorry. So, all right. The what? I guess you got our names right now. Yeah. I'm doing my best here. Sorry. But I want to do this panel in a little different way, because I come from I never worked in India. I always worked in the United States. So um, I had to research a lot about the policies and everything, because today's topic is import substitution to export dominance. But one of the things that I did in my past is policy making for the US. So I understand the policies from the US perspective. So I want to learn from the panel members, esteemed panel members, to understand why they think that India is ready for export dominance, right? So before we start the panel, I would like all the panel members to introduce themselves and give their perspective about import substitution to export dominance. So we can go from there. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So good afternoon. I think we are in between. Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. Between lunch and this panel discussion. So myself, I'm MB Reddy. I work with Reliance Industries. Reliance has a cloud business by name Jio. I had data center and cloud business for Jio in India, leading enterprises and government. Short about, you want us to make remarks about this topic now? Yeah, okay, fine. So 10 years back, if you see, right? So India is the largest importer of mobile phones, largest importer of electronics, right? So there is something called Make in India policy launched in 2014-15. Last 10 years, instead of importing, right, we'll be exporter. You'll be surprised to know last year, our exports of mobile phones is around 20 billion. 20 billion. We are contributing almost 20% of world's mobile production today. 2014, we had 2 units of mobile manufacturing in country. Today, we have 300 manufacturing units. These are the number. If you look at semiconductor 1.0, semiconductor 2.0, if anybody should have really seen the budget this year, around 47,000 crores was allotted for semiconductor 2.0 mission. What is this for actually? Where are we currently? Currently, all these mobile manufacturing units, all of them are assembly. They just import all the components, assemble here, show Make in India, again export. Okay, that's one. That's level 1. Okay, but what is now government aspiring to be? Right? So whatever we achieved in IT or software, these kind of things, government really want to achieve in semiconductors. See, a couple of months back, right? COVID time or much later, when there is any issue, we used to run short of chips. But whoever used to buy computers, they were all waiting. You place an order, wait for Cisco to deliver routers for 6 months. Kalyan should be knowing these things, okay? So this is what we faced. In COVID time, we definitely have faced. Okay? I mean, so Jio buys probably thousands of servers at a time. Okay? We used to wait for 6 months, 8 months for them to allot chips to us. So government is very clear. The semiconductor mission 2.0, we need to do end-to-end, right? From design to assembly to manufacture and tie up with global logistics. It's not just an assembly line. Okay? This is the vision of the government. So you can see in last 5-6 months, I think 3-4 large units are announced. Tata has announced a manufacturing unit in Gujarat, Assam, and someone else, I mean, Tata is there, and someone else also announced in Gujarat, and 2-3 manufacturing units have come in Gujarat. Okay. This is what I could see. Okay. So what is that we should see, right? As industry, as academicians, okay, we don't have enough trained design engineers. The kind of software engineers we produce, there is a shortage of talent. Okay. That is what India needs, a trained talent. Okay. That's what industry went and represented. If I have to do design here, I need talent, trained manpower. Okay. We don't have at undergrad level. Okay. Only we have at post-graduation level. You find MTech, VLSI and all, but we don't have at BTech level or at undergrad level. That is where India is running short. Government realized it. I think we are going to tie up with a lot of engineering colleges and run these courses of semiconductor. I think a couple of days back, 3-4 days back, you should have seen statement from our IT minister that they are targeting to train 60,000 engineers of design engineers. Design engineers using AI in design is next era actually. So that's what, not only about AI, design is important aspect for India actually. That's what we need to catch up. So what is going to happen, right? How industry is going to catch up or react with this policy? A lot of Indian companies will partner with large design companies and do a lot of co-creation of innovation. It is not just a technology transfer partnership and I assemble and manufacture here. They want to do co-creation of innovation here so that IP will be owned by an Indian company. That is the objective of government actually. So
Thank you. That's a
even
good
Reliance is
perspective.
working on that. We are actually working
Absolutely.
on manufacturing.
No, I totally agree with you. Innovation is the key to export dominance. Obviously, I come from a place where innovation was the key word. I think we all came from Murali, Kalyan, and we all came from that. So I totally agree that that is the root for everything for export dominance. But it goes beyond that, and we'll discuss that. Go ahead, Tom.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Subhash, for taking me as a part of the panel, and thanks to Kalyan for giving me this opportunity. Myself, Tom Sebastian. I represent Exatron Servers Manufacturing Private Limited. It's an initiative, to be frank, born out of Andhra Pradesh and grown in Bangalore for various reasons. And we might be the first greenfield server manufacturing company in the world, in this country. When I say greenfield, a company which started with the very purpose of manufacturing servers without having any other goals, starting from the ground zero. So we manufacture IT hardware now. We go into different depths of self-reliance there, started by getting the components and making and going down to the level of making the motherboards itself, own motherboards made in India. And we supply and support many of the critical functions of India government as on today, including defense. So when we talk about our subject today, moving from the level of a substitution to the level of dominance, I always look at it in this way. Historically, if you have to believe whatever people tell us now, India was very rich and we were doing the exports years before. But that time, across the globe, import and export was more of natural resources. Whoever is having what more, they used to sell it to the others. And that exchange used to happen. From there, what we started exporting more? We started exporting brains. Many of the brains are here now, temporarily. We started exporting brains. So still why it happened, we have to do import, substitution for import. How we reach that? There are a lot of root cause analysis needs to be done on that. We were not deserving that situation. Anyway, that happened. We came to the level of making something to substitute the import, and now we're dreaming about dominance of export. We shouldn't have fallen into that situation, first of all. But from this now, yes, we started growing. If we look at our industry, today when we started, I remember we have to take most of the components from outside, and government was supporting us, telling that you will be qualifying with certain type of policies for local content. Later, government changed it along with the time, supporting the growth of the industry here itself. Today, Exatron sits on multiple opportunities of export. Global market sees that we are, when I am talking about Exatron, that is my hands-on experience, but I'm sure that is the nature of the industry for many, other than the natural resources, other than the brains. They started looking at the products what we make here, and we started getting into the rather than a domestic substitution, mostly might be an international substitution today. From there, I'm sure very soon we will move to a dominance. We will be called in not just for the sake of price or cost alone. The days are not far away where we'll be called in for better products than what currently available in other part of the world.
I totally agree with you. I mean, you hit on one of the most important things, and that is policy. The reason why it is very important is I'm a former United States policymaker, and I can tell you the government is the one that starts, the dominance of its industry, and that's where the root is, apart from the education and the innovation. So I can tell you right now, I'm here for my ulterior motive, And my ulterior motive is I'm trying to bring two companies here. One, a nuclear energy company that I sit on the board, which does SMRs and MMRs, small modular reactor and micro modular reactor. And my agenda is to bring that in Andhra Pradesh, to put that manufacturing in Andhra Pradesh. And on top of it, I'm bringing my own company that does very highly efficient engines and aviation, the VTOLs and everything, again in Andhra Pradesh, right? And I can tell you the only reason that made me come here is the good policies of this administration here of Chandrababu Naidu Garu, you know, and that really made me look at things and I go, oh my God, this is really, really good. And I will talk about the policies that have changed in the United States in a little bit after Murali gets himself introduced, you know, why it is so important for American companies to come here.
Got it. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that enlightening. Looks like both of you touched upon electronics and semiconductors so far. I'll also talk about something similar. I'm Murali Kakarla. I worked for companies like Texas Instruments, NVIDIA, and AMD before I ventured on my own. Right now, I do software development for wireless routers. Right? I'll stick to, again, deep tech, may not be at the manufacturing level, but I'll touch upon my experience in deep technologies, right? I think India right now is too far away to talk about technology exports. Yes, we can talk about manufacturing as a dominance, production as an export, but can we do a technology as an export, right? Each one of your electronics, be it your iPhone, right, or Android phone, patents alone constitute about 15 to 20% of your phone's price. So if you pay $100 on your phone, $15 you're paying for technology patents. These patents are held by deep tech companies like Qualcomm, like Apple, right, like Google. So having worked with Qualcomm right now, we do a lot of work on Qualcomm shipping our wireless routers. I personally see that we are a little far away. Right now, we are still, can be a manufacturing exporter, can be a little bit of, we might do a little bit of technology, but then can we talk about technology as a dominance, technology as a patent holder, India holding the patents in these deep tech? I don't see that in the next 5 to 10 years, the horizon that I can see right now. Right? That's where I'll stop for now, and then I'll pass on to Kalyan.
I agree with you, Murali, to a large extent. And I think all three of them touched on, various aspects. Tom spoke about expounding the minds. So we started there. And then after that, we saw, to your point, manufacturing, automobiles, cell phones being exported out of India. Of course, it's not our technology, but I think if you look at the last 10 years, 10, 12 years especially, the number of cars India is exporting, the number of cell phones India is exporting, and of course, COVID vaccines. So I think there are certain sectors, but all of them in large fall into sort of a manufacturing sector, if you will, be it medicines or be it cars or be it cell phones. To your point, I think deep tech still a long way to go, but I think we have to play to our strengths. I think these are our strengths, and we have proven that in these 3, 4, 5 areas in the manufacturing, apart from services, we've been great and we've pioneered that. So I think that will continue. But I think if you look at, for example, a Mahindra car today, I mean, you see Mahindra car suddenly in London or South Africa or even in Australia, right? I think that's a great feeling. I mean, I see the videos here and there, but I think we need to see more of that. If you see the latest cars that are produced in India, especially the EVs, and the price points at which they got introduced into the market, I think India should be super proud of being able to do that, because it's impossible to sell a car at that price point with those kind of features in a country like US. I think that's where that huge tectonic shift in my point of view, you make a car like like for example, the Mahindra, what is it, 9E, the latest one, you make that in US and sell that in US, it's impossible. You'll sell that at 3x the price, probably. So I think that is something. So you look at where we were, look at 90s, right? I remember my father buying his first Maruti 800, right? And that was like, a big deal and a dream and all of that. But look how we have evolved over time, right? And the number of cars, Suzuki and Maruti, I mean, they got exported, and then almost every brand today exports quite big, and then iPhones and all the other phones, right? So there are many things that we did. Now, coming to self-reliance, COVID taught us many things. Semiconductor segment is a huge area for us to play, and that's what I think Tom is talking to, and MV Reddy was talking about, right? And data is another area. We were exporting our data for our own use. That was, if you think about it, not a good thing to do. But I think that also changed. Still it's changing, but a lot has changed. So I think a number of things has changed. I am a big believer that the next 5 years are going to be even better. But I think over the next 10 years, I think it's going to be a huge tectonic shift. I see almost in every segment, I see that however, we'll still fall behind on innovation and deep tech out of India, originating out of India. I think still a long way to go. But everything else, I think, in my point of view, we will pioneer that, and it's fantastic time for India. One more point, sorry, Subhash. And I think one of the primary reasons for deep tech not being, I mean, to the mark compared to some of the other countries like US is primarily not because we don't have talent nor the skills, stuff like that. We do not have risk capital. We do not have risk capital to bet on entrepreneurs, but that's a big beast, a topic for another day. But that to me is a big problem.
No, I totally agree with you on the risk capital part. But the two of you has said something that is exactly how the US policy has been written. Because the new, not political here, the new OBA, we call it, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that the administration just passed. Specifically, if you read certain things, it calls for replacing China with India. What does that mean? That means exactly what they said, and that is replacing China for manufacturing. So India, US identifies India as a manufacturing hub now. It's not because India is very cheap in labor and all that. It's a global arbitrage. India is at a prime location where the shipping lanes are really connect to India, number one. Number two is precision engineering. It's evolving. It was a shocker for me when I saw all the CNCs and the precision manufacturing that were built in India right now, with Fanuc automation and things like that. So it was a very pleasant surprise, which kind of pushed me to convince my board to move from Singapore to the United States, right? So this is fantastic. What I want to learn from you guys is, apart from where we want to go and what we need to do with deep tech and the patents and all those, is what policies that India and the state governments are doing to encourage this manufacturing, in addition to the shortcomings of the deep tech and the patents and everything. So I'll start with Murali, because you said deep tech,
So I think policy's point of view, it's a larger country, right? I mean, we all operate our limited budgets, and we all go with where the priority and impact is, right? Today, government definitely looks at manufacturing as a priority, employment generation as a priority, hence the budget reallocations that MV was talking about, and the manufacturing is being given the priority. I think where the deep tech could benefit is more of an R&D budgets. There is literally very limited amount of R&D budgets that are coming in. You have probably like, under 2% budgets in R&D, and we have very, very few companies that have that level of R&D budgets. That could be considered as a risk capital, or could be any other capital form coming in. With this level of minuscule R&D budgets, it's very highly impossible to do any innovation. I can talk about my experience in the wireless domain, right? How many of you have wireless routers at home right now? Most of you, right? You know what kind of technology runs in these routers? Probably Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 6. That's the name that most of you have heard about. There are Wi-Fi 7 laptops that just got released by Apple. You don't have routers yet in the market. And trust me, there is Wi-Fi 8 being worked upon, and we are part of it. Right? That's 2 generations ahead. Right? To work on 2 generations ahead, not knowing when it will hit into the market, you need deep pockets. You need larger R&D budgets. You know who are the companies that are working on it? Qualcomm, Broadcom, Microsoft. These are the people that have deep pockets. So I don't think government can do any policy level benefits for this kind of a deep R&D technology. Yeah, you can encourage, file a patent, you get a discount, things like that. But right now, I think it's still manufacturing as a priority sector. Government has been really focused on just the priority right now. But if you really want to get to the deep tech, you should encourage larger companies. You have Qualcomm here, you have all the companies that are working on these deep tech challenges, but that money is not being spent inside India. That R&D money is spent outside of India.
No, I totally agree with you. One of the things that, I've been in the government long enough in the US to tell you that there are 2 things that we do, and we do that religiously. One is when we do the R&D, we give the seed money to get the innovators going. That's number 1. Number 2, what we do is Congress gives R&D tax credits. We have an IRS code. We say, if you're doing R&D, if it is pure R&D, that you're not making any dime off of that, until you make money, you can take R&D as a credit, which means your bottom line on your EBITDA, you can say that my R&D was an expense, and you take it out so your taxes are lower. We are trying to push these companies to put more into R&D so that they can innovate more. So I totally agree with you. This is where the government should jump in and try to incentivize, because we have got manufacturing. A country like America totally identifies India as a replacement for China. It is a big deal, because US is a very big consumer, and catering to that, I mean, we can really turn the table around, become an export dominance in that part of the part. And coming to deep tech, I think we should do the R&D very well. What are your thoughts, Kalyan, on this one? And then I'll go with them too.
No, I think.
Yeah. So, Mr. M.V. Reddy, what do you think Reliance would do in terms of the R&D or increasing the R&D budgets to do deep tech?
Yeah, I'll comment actually. So I'll just talk about government policy and come about what Reliance Jio is doing.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Okay. See, today what is our policy, right? Our policy is more of PLI, we call production linked incentive. Okay. So from PLI, production linked incentive, it should move on to DLI, design linked incentives. To add to what Murali has said, okay. So if it is linked with design and patents, it will help. Especially I'm talking of chip design, chip manufacturing. Okay. Now coming to entrepreneurs, okay. We should not think of that you have to manufacture only GPUs or something, right? We can start manufacturing basic chips. Today you go, right? Your TV, electronics has chips, right? Your EV vehicles have chips, okay? Your mobile phone has chips, right? So we have to start ecosystem we have to build. Let's assume AP government has good policies, right? We have to create a level playing field, okay, where government should create a semiconductor park, sort of thing, semiconductor manufacturing park, and should have a common facilities, like clean room facility can be common, logistics can be a common thing. So you can create certain common facilities and encourage more on design and start encouraging entrepreneurs to do basic chip designing, basic chip manufacturing. It can be small chips which can be used in memories, it can be used in your EV vehicles, it can be used in your cams or sensors, this kind of thing. That is one. Okay. Next is, I mean, state government also needs a lot of water, land, power, this kind of things. Right?
Right.
These are all
Yeah.
supporting things.
I want
Coming
you
up
to
to Geo, right?
to
What-
also focus a little bit on the raw materials and that part of the system, because just having an ecosystem doesn't help when you have to use rare earth and all that to come up with a chip, right?
Right. I can add on to Subhash, right? Let's not get into deep tech right now, right? Let's say Reliance. I'm just picking on you just because you are part of the Reliance group, right? You deal with a lot of petroleum product, I mean, crude and then petroleum byproducts. How much of the money that Reliance makes is invested back into R&D towards petroleum products that are related to synthetic petroleums, to synthetic materials production out of petroleum waste? Is there a R&D at all, or it's just consumed as consumed and then produced?
No. It's a public data. We invest probably 8% of overall revenue into R&D right now. So Reliance is a 10 lakh crore company. So that's the kind of budgets we invest on R&D. So whatever you see today, right? I mean, what Geo, right? Geo never started as a telco company. It started as a digital transformation company, more focusing of a lot of innovation. Whatever partnerships we have with Meta or Google or whatever we do in AI currently, all are in-house created. You see your entire 5G network, what Reliance and Geo was, it's all indigenous. So what Reliance did, because of the deep capital, right? We went and acquired companies in Finland, acquired companies in Estonia, because they had the technology. Okay. So like how you said, we are already working on 6G. Right? So an entire tech stack is already being built. Because we are invested in the companies which are already did some research work in Finland universities or Estonia, acquired those companies, brought the technology here. Because of deep pocket, Reliance could do it. Okay. So similarly, whatever you're talking of petroleum or green energy, entire stack, right? You find gigafactories, end to end is manufactured in-house, right? From batteries to chip design, but it's not into semiconductor, but it's right now into EV, into energy, into petroleum. It's done end to end is done by them.
That's a great news, actually.
Yeah.
Good, and a big round of applause for this.
Yeah,
because,
8%
if
is very
Reliance
good
is
number.
doing a lot of this, pulling this money back into indigenous technology. I think it's a great news for India to be dominant there.
Including Tata's, Reliance, Adani's, right? At least 3 groups, which I clearly see. They want to invest in semiconductor manufacturing. They want to invest in AI. I mean, all 3 of them. And Reliance, actually, they committed a bigger number. I think $100 billion is committed to build own AI data centers and as well as semiconductor chip manufacturing. There's a commitment our Reliance chairman has announced last week. Yeah.
So Tom, I want to give you the last chance before we wrap it up, because I've been told that I'm in between you guys and the lunch. So I want to make sure that I don't get cussed at. So please, Tom, go ahead.
See, when we talk about investing on R&D for a company of our size, now we heard about something which is far away to hide from Murali and the big boys of India. So now let me talk about the common man's story. People like us who gets into entrepreneurship, we always go into manufacturing first. It's a low-hanging fruit. Like when India wanted to have self-reliance, first why we approach for manufacturing first? It's if you have seen, because I do a lot of studies on the incentives available. Appreciate the government for offering a lot of incentives. The first demand will be for how many people you will give the job. That will be the first demand. Demand will not be about how many new products you will make. Demand will not be how many niche products you will make. Demand nowadays coming slightly that now what will be the top line. But otherwise, how many people will get the job? Why it is? That is our social and political reasons. Sitting there for us to talk about a deep pocket, we do not know what is the depth of. We don't have pockets itself. So we should be looking at something which can be worked out. So as you rightly mentioned, there is a design-linked incentive which started by the government now. With those incentives, yes, you can make, again, as you told, start from the small level. But if you don't do it at least now, we'll continue looking for the jobs throughout life. For years, We will do everything to get job for our people. We will never come to the level of leading. So this is the right time. We have a good start now. We are delayed, but later is better than never. We have started, we are on the right track. And we have the brain still back here. So maybe we should be reaching a level where, as he told 10 years, we wish by 5 years we should be there.
Absolutely. Do we have time for questions or we wrap up? Sure. Yeah.
Just to give a perspective, right? So India current market size of semiconductors is around 40 billion currently. So if you just leave it, naturally it will go to probably 100 billion by 2030. Suppose we start working on focusing on exports. There's a high possibility that we can touch 200 billion by 2030. By 2030, what is global market size? Global market size will be 1 trillion for semiconductors. I'm talking of only pure semiconductor line. Okay. So at $1 trillion, we can focus on 20%. 100 billion can be our Indian market. 100 billion can be export market. If we can actually set all these things, it's possible for us to do. What we did in software, we can do in chips. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. So, sir earlier have mentioned that we are 2 generations behind, and India is such country that though their people have good potential, it is crippled with system. That's why we see there's a lack in talent, like sir mentioned again. So, how do we bridge this?
I think you got it completely wrong, buddy. What's your name? Kiran. Kiran, I think you got it completely wrong. System is not crippled. Don't blame the system, right? R&D, there's no system that supports R&D. R&D is purely, born out of corporate innovation. All of us are happy with Wi-Fi 6, what we have. You don't need Wi-Fi 8 if you don't want to, right? Just because there's Wi-Fi 8 doesn't mean that we have to blame the system yet. So let's not blame the system. I think we have great talent, no doubt about it. Just as a country, right, the priority today is employment. That's because of the volume of engineers that are coming out. Hence, PLI has talked about, hence employment generation is the priority sector. That does not mean that we will come back to R&D little later. So once there is a need for the R&D based economy, I'm sure DLI schemes will kick in and a lot of us will get benefited. Talent, I think absolutely, we have a great talent that is usable for the manufacturing segment. As Kalyan was talking about, the capital. Right? Capital in the form of R&D, yes, we have very little capital in the form of R&D, hence we are not going there. Not because there is any systemic problem yet, Kiran. Okay?
Absolutely.
We'd love to take one-on-one questions later. Can I please request Madhavi to give away the mementos? And we'll be back for our next session very
Thank you,
sharp
guys.
at 2:30. So, sorry guys, I know. Lunch, like yesterday, is at KRC and Excher.